Welcome everyone to another Reltio community show. I'm Chris Stetzel. I'm the Director of Customer Community and Engagement. Today we actually have a special guest, Sushant Rai. Sushant, it's the first time you're on to do a
Yeah.
show, which I'm really surprised. I thought we had you on, at least sometime last year, but we haven't. He's the Senior Director of Product Management and has been with Reltio for some time. Today's um, show will be about the new modern Reltio user experience. So as most of you know, we've had a lot of really great features that have come out in this last release, and we're showcasing those features in this one instance today. So quickly, rules of the show, rules of engagement is please keep yourself on mute. All questions should be asked in chat, or feel free to take yourself off mute as usual, to ask questions. The community show will be recorded and posted to the Reltio community. My goal is to have it up by tomorrow, just because we have some time off. Most of us have some time off this week and to next week because of the holidays. Hopefully you guys get to have some holidays as well. We do have some upcoming community shows. Today's the new modern Reltio user experience. We do have a CCAB lunch and learn session. So if you're interested in ever attending those are a little bit more smaller groups to where they make decisions on our documentation portal. And then we have a show on the 14th of July on UI configuration and self-service. And then on the 19th, we have one on natural language processing, text representation in MDM, which that's going to be really exciting. And then moving data in and out of Reltio, it's a cakewalk. And then machine learning based matching, we did reschedule that from back in February or March, and it's now back on the calendar. Looking forward to that. And the last one that we have coming up is on the 28th of July, Reltio Integration Hub with Sajid Sayed at Advara and his experience. It's a via interview. So we're definitely excited about that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Sean, and just like I said, see, there was like 10 people on, now there's 47. So.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thanks a lot for getting this started. And I'm with you. It should not have taken this much time, but we're really excited to be here, sharing the details of our the new Reltio UI that we have, launched last year, but then we have made it generally available across the platform. And I'd like to talk to everyone about it. So thanks everyone for joining. As Chris said, we'll be recording and sharing this, but feel free, please keep it interactive, ask your questions, and then I'll stop and answer questions during the session and at the end as well. So this is a community show for you. Let's make it happen. All right, so the game plan, right? I'm not going to bore you with a lot of slides, right? So in fact, there are only 3 slides apart from this one that you see. I just want to give you a quick introduction of what we're going to talk about, right? What is this new modern user experience? For those customers or partners who are recently associated with it, might not having seen the old UI, and they would realize, okay, what's this new thing? So I just want to take a minute or two to talk about what it is, and then jump straight into demo, right? I want to show you product. I want to show you why we did this new UI and what are the key benefits and outcomes that you can expect as for end users, data stewards, business users, or data analysts out there. And then we'll talk a little bit about why this change, as well as, and then follow it up with the rollout plans that is coming for next few months. Okay, with that, let me just get started. So these are the things that I mentioned I'm going to cover today. Let's talk about, right, what is this new and modern user experience? So we started this initiative actually a couple of releases ago, maybe late 2020 or so. And so far, we have been taking one view at a time and converting and redesigning into modern experience. So overall, the entire initiative is called the new Reltio UI. it's a completely redesigned and rebuilt user interface from scratch, right? It's an intuitive and modern user experience, which is specifically built, by keeping usability and things that, data stewards, analysts, and business users care about, when they're, working day in, day out within Reltio. Okay, so that's our key personas on how quickly and easily and efficiently they can find information as well as do any of their data stewardship processes. The new Reltio UI allows users to quickly navigate through our modern interface for a simplified experience with a brand new navigation paradigm. Personalize their user experiences with the information that is relevant to them at a user level, right? So I like my dashboards with these metrics of these charts in a certain layout, and the next user might be might need it in a different way, and now we are providing those capabilities from that, right? Better content discovery or data discovery with a focused search experience, right? Search is one of the first few areas where which we innovated, but with new spotlight search that we're bringing up, it's going to become even more relevant. Easily understand entities and relationships, whether it's a new way of visualizing relationship in a graph perspective, in different types of hierarchical modes, or in a relationship view where you can have different attributes and directions and things like that of those relationships. Very visible, very intuitive, right? And if it's using all this, you essentially steward data. Right? So this was the main purpose of why we wanted to do this, and this is why and how we went about doing it. And now that the new UI is generally available for all customers to use, and adopt, and use. So let's switch to demo, right? And just please start the show. So I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right. So I've jumped into the new Reltio UI, right? Before, so I want to talk about a couple of themes here, right? Just as I was talking on the slide itself, right? That, a couple of themes like navigation, personalization, easily finding data discovery, stewardship, and things like that, right? So I'm going to use the same theme and talk about on how that applies to the new UI itself. So here we are, right? Dashboards. This is something that we did, I believe, the last release, not the current one, where this is an example of completely personalizable view that an individual user can build or configure for themselves, right? I have access to the charts. I can see what charts do I need or not need and simply add them, right? And they will be added to me, right? Every new chart that the administrator or configurator builds for me will always be in here. So I can add a chart, I can remove a chart from the dashboard. So something very powerful and allows end users to have the data that they want relevant to them. Right? Within the dashboard itself, right? I can easily resize any facet. I can move it around, and Reltio UI will save user preferences, right? So I, as a user, can set up this whole layout based on my preferences. I log out, come back 2 days later or the next day. It will be exactly like how I want it. That's the power of personalization itself, right? In addition, right, with dashboards, we completely redesigned it, right? Rich visualizations that makes it easier to work with the charts. And the analysis is much better current, and the performance is much faster, right? Similarly, you saw the data quality dashboard that we released, right? Again, an example of checking the data quality at an entity level or at an attribute level, right? Easily to consume information completely at a user level. And the best part is, right, whether you are looking at entity level metrics or attribute level metrics, right? Everything is just between, it's one click away between the visualization and the data. So for all the contacts where full name has, missing a full name, just a click takes you to the search results, and then you can start working on them. So these are the changes that we brought, where you can visualize data as well as immediately act upon any information getting out of that visualization. So that's what I want to talk about a little about personalization. The other part is that we have completely reimagined and changed is the navigation on how you navigate from within Reltio UI, right? if you see our old UI or current UI that most customers are using, have a top navigation bar where you can go to search or profile and things like that, right? And it takes majority of the space on top, and it's not most efficient use uh, of your screen or the available real estate on the UI, and neither it's conforms to the best of pre-designed concepts as well, right? So we have reimagined the navigation experience. The navigation has moved to the left-hand part. The new intuitive navigation is lean, fast, and has fewer cursor movements. Its collapsible navigation ensures that even if you are looking at a particular entity or a particular dashboard, you quickly click on something, and then the navigation collapses back, giving you the full view of the data or the dashboard within the same, right? The navigation is also fully scalable across multiple form factors, and makes it easy for you. If you don't remember it, you can just quickly expand or collapse it with a click, and all your key aspects which you already have, which you had. Notifications are here, or your applications are moving with more vertical menu rather than a chocolate bar. And this is your profile information, which shows you the tenant information, your profile, and of course, if you want to switch back and forth between the new UI and classic.
Hey, Sushant, quick question.
Yeah.
Are all these updates available right now, or are they coming up in a future release?
Everything that I'm showing today is available right now. Okay, so maybe I'll take a step back and talk to you about it. Right, that if we are giving capabilities for all customers, and I'm going to talk about it when I talk about rollout. So I'll show it to you. But quick answer is that everything that I'm talking or demoing today is live and available with all customers. Okay, so
Thank you.
Okay, I see some note chats about audio. Is it fine now, or is there a problem?
I think for the most part, for me, it's fine. And for the most part, I think it's good for everyone else. So I think we're okay.
Good. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, right, on how, data discovery, right, how easy it is to find data. So many of you who have been working with Reltio already know that we had redesigned our search experience last year, and it went, it was generally available last year itself. And as you can see, right, you can easily find any data, all your entity types in a tenant are listed. These are the faceted attributes. You can search based on any attributes. We always bring up recommended attributes as well, and you can select anything. So this is not new, but I just wanted to take you through it quickly. You can completely personalize this view, what kind of data points that you want within your address tables and things like that, right? So you can just add it in here, and then where it will persist whatever information that you need in it here. So very easily you can switch between table and list views, right? Within your search, you can have a quick view of profile without even opening a profile. It will show up right here. And something very cool that I always really like showing up is the map view. So if you have your organizations and addresses are mapped correctly, it will visualize on the map. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can click on, say, okay, 15 profiles. You can use a search as I move kind of feature, and then as you move the profiles, the search will refresh and show the results in that particular region. You can go one step ahead and say, okay, I want to see everything in Minneapolis area without typing the search parameters, right? So in general area, you can simply drag and drop a circle around it, and it will show you all the profiles, which is filtering down. So 23 here, some here, and things. And as soon as you hover on one profile, it will show you all the key aspects on it. So fairly easy and very intuitive and visual way of looking at your profiles. You can build advanced search.
Hi, this is Charito from Abby. I have a comment regarding the queries, the search, right? I've been using this new UI.
Okay.
Right. So I find it really difficult for it's not difficult for the search, but as a data steward, when I do some searches, I'd like to know how many MDs, physicians, right, in the state. In the old UI, it will give me the details, right? But this new UI, I have to click one by one, really, to see the numbers, right? It's the old UI, it gives me all the details that I want right away. So
Okay.
I have raised this observation to the team, and until now, I haven't heard from them yet. So.
Okay, so thanks for bringing it up to me. And if I can understand a little more, you're saying that basically search, nothing has changed in last 1 year. So I'm just reiterating here. So what was the use case again?
Let's say if you're looking for an HCP, right? Or like an organization.
Right.
For me, HCP, right?
Right.
You have an HCP here for an example.
I don't have HCPs modeled in this tenant, but we can talk about organization.
Let's say organization. Let's say I'm trying to look for pharmacies, right?
Right.
Let's say pharmacies, Walgreens, right? How many pharmacies do we have? Like how many Walgreens, CVS, right? If I click on pharmacies, it will give me the list of all pharmacies, right? And the numbers of pharmacies.
Okay, so I mean, do you mean that if you have organization, does it not give you numbers on top of how many HCPs do you have?
In the old UI, let's say this organization that you have it click, right? It will give me right away how many Walgreens, CVS, all the organizations, right? And the numbers. But here in this new UI that you're showing, right? It doesn't give you the numbers.
Okay, and this is the number on the top is not what you're expecting.
Yeah, there should be a sub, right? These are the organization. You click organization, then you have subs, right? Walgreens, CVS, all the pharmacies, and the numbers.
Okay, so I think let me look for the message from you and then work through it, because we have not changed anything between old UI and UI. This, in fact, search has been around for an year. So I'd love to work through this and on a one-on-one basis, and then of course share with the rest of the community. I can't figure out that particular use case in the demo that I'm using today. Okay, I will figure this out.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Sushant, there's a couple of questions. One comment is UI-wise, it was very helpful having tenant display atop of the screen. So like profile, now it requires 2 clicks, not necessarily to address here,
Right.
but it was just kind of a FYI. And one question is there a plan to also bring customization to other views? So, decouple the profile, create screen with the profile view in the UI. So today, if you have 100 attributes in the profile view, and if you want to create a new profile, you get 100 attributes there as well. Would be great that it would be great if we can show only selected attributes which we need for creation.
Exactly. Yeah.
And total customize how the facets look in the profile view versus create screen. Looks like Shrita agrees.
Yes.
So
that's good. Yeah, true.
All right, so yeah, let me take it one by one. So what happens, the first one, right, tenant ID, and this is something that we is intentional, but we are definitely open to feedback, right? So why did we move tenant ID and why it is not visible all the time is that most of our users, business users or end users, they typically work only one tenant, right? Our administrators from a customer perspective might work in more than one tenant and it might be helpful. And then, our partners definitely work than one tenant. So designing for business users in mind who spend the time most, we moved it and it is 2 clicks, but I think that's the most common scenario. And other than that, for users having more than one tenant that they work for, they will have a choice of it here. So that's the whole reason. But if you're open for feedback, and I would love to hear from you, why would you need it from your day-to-day work? Because we don't believe end users really keep switching between tenants from one to another. The next question was around having a simplified create. and it's good. That is something that is in progress right now, that we're working on full authoring capability. Right now, majority of our customers use Reltio API first, and they manage our master profiles within Reltio, right? They do stewardship. So most of the time the data is getting edited. Creation is less frequent, but it is growing, right? We know that use case. And we are designing right now a creation experience as well, which particularly talks about less number attributes or whatever you want, specifically only on the creation part. So that is something that we do have in mind, and thanks Noman for bringing it up. And as we continue our definition and design of that authoring capability, we'll keep you all posted on how it's going, and hopefully bring it to you soon.
Yeah, and one question, a couple of comments. One, does the customization of adding attributes, et cetera, persist across login and logouts?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'm trying to read the message.
Does the customization of adding attributes persist across login and logouts?
Oh, definitely. Yes, it persists. So once you're setting up UI configuration for your profile and whatever attributes you have, it will persist. But I believe if the question is around personalization, it also persists across login and logout for dashboard. For profile, there's an issue, but we are working, and I think starting this week, for profile also, if you rearrange your profile UI, it will persist between login and logout, whatever layout you choose.
And a couple comments. One is, and for new profile creation, please don't show me the attributes that will be auto-populated by cleansers, since they're not relevant for manual data entry. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think that's a great input for our design. Thanks, Kurt, and then we'll keep this in mind.
Great. And then one comment directly to me was, switching all the time between tenants. I guess there's a concern between that and the UI or something like that. And then Gillian says, is there a reset option? So if you mess up your customization, you can just reset it back to the default.
For administrators, yes, there's a reset, and they can create a customization. So customization can really not be done by end users. It can only be done by administrators or configurators. For end users who are personalizing their UI, it can be reset by admins, or they can just do it over again. We have not built a reset as such, but there is a refresh available for refreshing data.
Great. That's all the questions for now. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I believe let's move on. So I quickly moving on, right, on how search, and not spend a lot of time. This has been around. With advanced search, we can simply build complex queries with multiple sets, multiple complex configurations, and any of these queries can be simply saved as saved search for you and for all the end users as well, right? A key thing is something that you already had in the old UI. Is that something that we're bringing on search that is changing? So the global search, right, which was on the top right, is moved. The difference here it is, right, we have redesigned it to be work like spotlight search. This is easy accessible from the navigation bar, and the results right now in the middle of the screen itself, right, not some the top far right corner, right. So you can easily work through it and go from here and search for results. So capabilities are same. The results are faster, the performance is better, and it also subscribes to the global filters if you apply any. So this is a change that is coming, and I believe it will be much easier to use the search, since it's right in the middle of the screen. The next thing I want to talk was about profiles, right? So this is the new profile UI, right? And I'll talk about a few perspectives and stewardship in general. So profile also has been built by taking end user personalization in mind. So you have a flexible layout with ability to move and resize facets. All these facets can be moved and resized based on things that are relevant to you. You can have, these relationships can be on top and things like that. And of course, this will be persisted once you come back after logging out and logging in, right? A new dynamic profile band on the top shows the most critical information. So we have earlier it used to be static and used to take a lot of space. Now it is dynamic based on the key attributes that you need, and it will show, right? And it could differ from profile or depending on what the configuration is. Right. On the right side, we have simplified. This will show all the workflows going on, any collaboration or messaging going on, and the history of the profile itself. Right. Well, how is the profile created, updated, and things like that? What are the different filters available to different activities and by users that you can see to see the entire history. A key thing to note here is that you might notice a difference that two particular tabs that used to be there on the old UI, specifically research and network, are not available in the new UI, and that is intentional. Based on the customer usage and the feedback that we collected, we are not bringing them in and not going to be building it, at least for now, but we would love to hear feedback from you that you still need them, but that they are not planned to be available on new UI, research and network.
So a couple of questions, Sushan, is the research option taken away, or am I not able to see it?
Yes. No,
Okay.
as I just said, that research option has been taken away, and we don't intend to bring it again here in Reltio. We are going to give additional options for customers to have their own research and bring it their own sources. But the default research, which was all of there, is it's not missing. We have not built it in intentionally.
Got it. So these customizations are specific to the user who's logged in, and if so, what if the admin changes something? Will the admin changes take precedence over the specific customizations?
So at a user level, I can change. Two users can have two different layout, but admins, if admins change the overall layout, that will take precedence over the user personalizations.
And then a comment here, I think network and research tab is not there, and discussions renamed to collaboration. So
that is correct. Thanks, Madhuri. That is absolutely correct. Network and research tab are not there in new UI, and discussions have been renamed to collaborations.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on, as I said, right, we can move between two different perspectives, right, by clicking on the profile tab. We can look at all the relationships. This is something we delivered last release as well. All relationship types, all relationships are, shown here in a much more visual way, not a lot of crammed up information. You can filter between the relationships on certain attributes. You can decide what are the relevant columns on this table for you. You can filter directly on relationship types in here. You can click on a particular relationship and then see all the information in a sub view, if you want to say, right, what is that relationship direction, what is it called, labels, particular attributes. You can add an attribute from right here itself and look at the crosswalk information within this attribute. So much more space. Earlier view just had, in the old UI, there was just one view and information was really, really hard to read. So we have expanded the information here and a lot more real estate for you to work with, right? And now talking about, again, relationships, visualizing in a graph way. This is a completely redesigned graph perspective again, right? We have used new UI libraries to bring out the information that you might need to consume. So this is the profile that we're talking about and all the relationships in a visual way. You can, at any point of time, you can jump to another profile and look at all the information about it. So information is always available at a profile level on the right side, and you don't need to keep jumping back and forth. So the data management is really, really easy. You can also have different graph types depending on what kind of hierarchies you are maintaining, as well as have different graph layouts, like from a simple network to a vertical hierarchy or a horizontal hierarchy, right? So whatever works for you, you can just use it. Other thing I wanted to highlight is that you can also visualize the same relationships, search through them. And if you're working on a graph perspective, you can simply add relationships from directly here as well. So multiple options of visualizing entity and their relationships. And this has been revamped, as I said, for experience. It has improved, has much more improved performance for a large volume of data. And as I said, you can record filtering capabilities using entity, relationships, and graph types. The next one I'll talk about is that the one which has gone through a couple of iterations, right? Potential matches. And we have done it once, and then we got some feedback, and which was not so positive. So we went back to the drawing board, and we have come back with our column view of for potential matches. Lot of improvements that we heard from you as a feedback, right? So this new view will accelerate, the review and resolution of pending potential matches. You can resolve matches much more confidence with the help of the UL itself and the additional controls that we have created to help with the review process on the match screen, right? You can personalize the screen on the list of attributes and columns that you need. So you can just keep adding what things that you need here. You can have filtering and sorting on this. And highlights are, the match rules always highlights where the matching based on what attributes this particular match has been suggested. So it makes it easier and, visually for data stewards to quickly see, okay, which two columns do I, which attribute on these two columns I need to compare, right? The side panel also has been revamped, right? It will show you all the potential matches. You can quickly find and basically look for different profiles. So you have a full our dynamic filtering capabilities where you can simply use any of the filters to, for example, look for anything that bears resemblance to this particular profile name, and it will show it to you. So it's very easy now to find profiles, and we are still making multiple enhancements to it and going about it. So that is about potential match. I would like to point out that we are still working on the table view, and we are going to there are two different views. One is the column view and the other is a table view, which we had released in early access, but we're going to bring it back in 22.3 for comparing more than 4 profiles at a time. So right now you'll be able to select one profile, compare 4 profiles, but if you need to do compare 10 at a time, we are bringing a table view to do that in bulk.
Hey, quick question, Sushant. On click of node user is navigated to profile, or the info is displayed in the right side panel in graph view?
I'm sorry, on click of node user is navigated to profile, or the info is displayed? Okay, so the question is on the graph perspective. Let me show it to you. On click of the node, we don't navigate. What we do is, okay, something is happening. What we do is simply show the profile on the right side on the information here. So we don't do navigation at this point. Okay, it just shows on the right side. So if you open the side panel, it will show it to you.
All right, thanks, Sushant.
All right, so let's give it a second. Switch. Yeah, I think I went to the other profile. All right, I want to talk about sources here or survivorship, right? So this is the new sources or perspective, again, enhanced user experience. We're focusing on data steward productivity. Here, again, simple things that we've seen, what columns, add the columns that are relevant to you. You can simply add an attribute in here. History view is now available in sources. So earlier, the feedback was that users have to switch back and forth, go to profile, and then look at history. But now we are maintaining history right within the sources view itself. There's simplified editing capabilities, right, on pinning or ignore or any more actions that you want to take right at this level. Feedback was that this whole color scheme that changes between sessions. So if Edgar as a source has this particular color or Reltio data cleanser has a different color, there was no consistency, and that has been fixed. So every time you come back, sources and their colors are pretty constant. So again, a lot of improvements in here. You can see multiple views, process, crosswalk, sources, and contributor views, and work through them.
Sushant, quick question, sorry. Is it possible to separate the attribute name and OV into separate columns?
Aaron, I have seen this feedback from you, and we are working on analyzing it. At this point, with the current release, it is not. And as I said, right, I've seen that feedback from you. So we are working. Karina is also on the call, who leads our UX team, on evaluating if we should split it, and we'll work with you on this particular feedback. But simply put, no, right now attributes and OV are in the same column, and they cannot be split by a configuration or anything. All right, and the final thing I want to talk about in stewardship was the new improved activity log, the whole, whatever activities have been done on this particular profile, with advanced filter capabilities on activity types, what were the different activities, times, date ranges, and any user filtering that can be done. And the entire thing can be exported as well very easily from this UI itself. So that is something that we've done. So a lot of these capabilities that I want to talk about in terms of stewardship experience, right, that we have brought in. The last part that I want to talk about, and I mentioned in the beginning, was a key aspect of this was to giving control to our customers, right, by giving self-service capabilities in managing their own Reltio UI. So in that direction, we came out with a couple of capabilities. So dashboard configuration used to be a black box, but now with the new Reltio dashboard can be simply completely designed and defined by the Reltio configurators, partners, or administrators itself. You can see this is the same layout, all the charts that are available, and you can set and change any properties that you want. If you want a new chart, administrators can just simply create, pick up a chart type and start talking about the libraries, what type of chart it is, what are the entity types, and what are the filters, what attribute you want to work on it, and things like that, right? What would be the visualization properties and what roles of users can be defined. And with the simple publish, this chart will be available to all your users for use, right? So it used to be a long process, asking Reltio for a file or asking Reltio or consultants to create a chart for them to publish. You can simply do it in dev or test environments and push it to production. The second part I wanted to quickly point out is something that again is a big friction point or takes time away from your regular day-to-day project activities, is doing configurations, where you would need a UI configuration file, you raise a support ticket, and then make the change, get the file, make the changes, raise another ticket to publish it. Now you can do everything yourself. All the UI configuration files are stored here. You can simply download, make the changes, and upload. I'm not going to go too deep into it. My colleague Girish, who is on the call today, is going to host a webinar on specific for UI, this topic, UI self-service on 14th of July, and he'll take you in detail about all these capabilities. I just wanted to highlight that with this new UI direction we have taken, we also have kept in mind the configurator and administrator persona, making it easier for them to configure Reltio UI as well as drive it faster time to value. Things like that, right? So these are the things that I really wanted to talk about and show it to you, right? Before I start the demo, right, and switch back to slides, or see, Chris, if there are any questions that we can take right now so that I can show them within the demo itself.
Yeah, so regarding the source screen, is there any way to prevent change in survivorship while permitting update on the attributes?
So this is a question from you, Chris. Okay.
Well, it's not me, but yeah, it's a customer.
Okay. So the thing is that the new survivorship UI, right? It will not change anything it will not change the survivorship strategy itself, right? This is a read-only view. Let me go back to the other profile. Yes, this is any changes that you do will only happen for this particular profile or the attributes here. It will not affect the survivorship strategy. This was a key feedback from majority of our customers, that they don't want users to change survivorship strategy for the entire entity type. And we are not allowing that anymore. So you cannot change the source system or the rule type in here. It's completely read-only, and it will only be set up by administrators. I would also like to add,
I'm sorry, what happens if somebody changes it then? You're saying just for display purposes, or affects that profile only? What happens then? Or
so nobody, that's what I'm saying, right? So if you're changing something on the attribute level, or ignoring or pinning an attribute, it only happens for this particular profile. But you cannot actually change a survivorship strategy. In the old UI, you can change this from frequency to aggregation, and that will affect all the entity types.
right?
But then with the new UI, we are stopping that.
Really?
But
okay,
right.
that would be great. That's terrific. Thank you.
And I would like to also add, Mark and rest of the team, right, that we are also building a self-service UI within console data modeler that will allow you to build survivorship strategies. And as with any other capability in data modeler, it will be only available to administrators and configurators, not to end users. So with 22.3, you will not have to go to our L3 or JSON config to build survivorship strategies. Fallback strategies, everything will be available on the UI within our data modeler application.
So specifically on this, so only the admin can do it from here, or do we need,
this particular UI, Chris, is only available to business users.
Okay.
The changes from the old UI, where in the old UI you could change this particular column rule type, and we got customer feedback that they should not be able to. So we have taken that away, but we are building that capability now in the data modeler and making it only available to administrators, which is the way customers want it.
Okay. So here's some more questions.
So Noman, just to say, this UI that you see on your screen right now is available to end users, and they can do anything, everything else apart from changing survivorship strategy. Okay. For partners and administrators, they will be able to do it via data modeler starting 22.3 release in October.
Oh, wow. Is there a way to represent the sub-attribute level survivorship rule in the source view?
Is there a way to represent the sub-attribute level of survivorship rule in the source view? So depending on the attributes itself, we do expand it, but then we are maintaining it at the higher level itself, not the sub-attribute way. So you can see all the values, but that's the granularity that we go to.
Okay. Can we save the attributes we selected? So attributes that we only need?
Yes. So once you decide what attributes you want, the UI will remember your preference, and next time you come back to the UI, the same attributes will be there.
All right. And will you permanently allow us to switch back to the old UI, so on case-by-case basis, or will it be depreciated at some point?
Okay. So Sandra, hold on to that question. I'm going to cover that in just a few minutes, right?
Okay.
I'll come back to you. I promise I have a slide on it, and we'll have a good discussion on it.
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Cool. So let me switch back, and of course I'm coming back and show it to you if you want. So a common question that I get, right? Why are we doing this, right? It's a huge change for existing customers, thousands of users. They have to be moving. Sometimes training might be needed and things like that, right? Why did we decide to do this, right? And there are good reasons, right? We want to provide our customers and users with the latest design concepts itself, right? And material design that we have used is the most widely used design concept across the globe by the biggest tech companies, and we wanted to bring those advantages. It's a change, but it's a change for better usability, high efficiency, and effectiveness on your day-to-day operation. We also have revamped our entire technology stack, so it's not just making it pretty on the top, right? Entire thing that powers this UI. We have changed it and made it completely modern, usable technology stack itself, right? That is scalable, stable, and high performance, right? We have done tests, and the new UI is actually faster. In fact, the Chrome rendering test that we have done, it is much more better than the old UI, right? With this, we are going to be able to accelerate the pace of innovation, right? With this new technology frameworks, we are going to build UI components much faster, build reusable UI components much faster as well, right? In our long-term roadmap, we want to build reusable UI components and give it to our partners or customers to embed in other UIs or build their own UIs itself. But then we were able to do it with our old technology. So this was one of the other big reasons that we want to do this, right? And we want to go more and more towards self-service configuration, which was very difficult with the old technology or the old design. So we want to push much more self-service, and we want our customers to be much more independent, and they can do everything quickly rather than depending on Reltio or support or consultants, right? They do it quickly, derive faster time to value. So these are the things that we wanted to do it, and that's where. That's how the whole thing came to about, right? So yes, so now the question is about the new UI, right? And there was a question about which UI is going to stay and which is going to go away. So the new Reltio UI is going to replace the existing or the classic UI that customers currently use. How will that happen? I want to talk about rollout plans, right? So the new Reltio UI is generally available for all customers to adopt today. Everything that I showed today is available within your tenants, right? And I would like to switch back to the demo once again, something that I should have covered, but I did not, is that for customers, it's fairly simple to switch between, the current UI and the new UI, right? So for all customers who want to explore this at a user level or within some of their dev and test tenants, you can simply go and click to your user profile in your current UI, click on manage view preferences, right? One option is that you can do it feature by feature and select, okay, I just want to explore the new sources view, and then you do it and save, and the sources view would be loaded from UI. Or you can just simply say, okay, let me give it a test, right, for the entire UI, and I say enable new UI, and I click on save. The whole UI will switch to the new UI, the navigation will change, and all the views would be of the new UI. So it's very simple for customers, partners, and users to try it themselves, right, and do it. At any point of time, something that we're allowing right now, you can go to your user profile and click on switch back to classic UI, and then you will be able to go back and, no disturbance to your work and continue working on it. Right? So that is something I wanted to cover on how to switch back and forth between the two UIs. It's optional right now. So as I said, new UI is generally available for all customers to adopt. Users can switch to a new UI from user preferences. I'll left a link for our documentation on how to do it. The view preferences, and that's something that I showed yesterday, is at a user level. Just now is at a user level. If as a customer or a partner you decide that I want all users on a particular tenant to switch to the new UI, just raise a support ticket and we will do it for you in no time, and all the users on that tenant will be switched onto the new UI. Okay, does not have a self-service right now because it's only for a small period of time, but you can just reach out to us and we'll do it for you. Right. All new customer tenants. Sorry, Chris, let me just finish this and then we'll. Yeah. All new customer tenants will only have new UI enabled. So any tenants that are getting provision now will only have new UI with no option to go back to old UI. But if you have a business need and you are on middle of your project or things like that, let us know and then we have a way to switch it on for you. But we intend to deprecate the current UI with 22.3 release, which is October 12th of 2022. With this change, the old UI will not be available for customers to switch back and forth. And at this date, we plan that all customer tenants will be switched to new UI. So we are going to take the time from now until then to get your feedback, implement that feedback, and work with you with any help and support that you need to switch to this new UI. Whatever feedback that we've gotten so far, it's already in implementation, and you will see it coming across in next, sprints and weekly releases that we are going to publish. But this is our plan for now. For any reason that you think that this is not going to work for you, if there's a strong business reason or a go live or a rollout or any activity that might prevent you from doing this, please reach out to us via your CSM, and then we will take it on case-by-case basis. But so far, we intend to deprecate the current classic UI with 22.3 release. The date is October 12th. Okay, so let me go back to the question, right? Will you permanently allow us to switch back to the old UI? As I said, right now till 22.3, you can switch back and forth between the two UIs. Starting October 12th, old UI will be deprecated, and then customers will not have a choice to go back. Okay, so we just still have some time, but if you want to have a conversation based on a business reason, do let us know, and then we can talk about it. Is there a way to prevent access to classic UI before 22.3? Yes, there is a way. You can just tell us, and we can switch off the classic UI completely from your tenants. Just raise a support ticket with the tenant information where you want it, and we will get it done immediately. So that's a small change, but you will have to reach out to us. Okay. Are there any updates on export capability? Export capabilities were already built on the new UI framework. So we did release a small change in terms of some flags in this release, but no major changes that have come up recently on the export UI. You can launch export from within search, but yes, that's about it.
Yeah, there is a new selection for OV value. When I click on the OV value and export, it's still giving all those crosswalks, which is not really helpful.
Which is not helpful. Sorry, Charles, could you repeat? It's not helpful? Is that what you're saying?
It's not. I just want the OV value, and it gave me all the crosswalk as well.
Okay. Got it. Let me check on that, and if it's a bug or it's not working as designed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, I think there is a question, Noman. Is there any plan for enabling security on attribute level in the new UI, like based on user, she can only see selected attributes? I think if you're talking about visibility based on certain roles, right? Visibility of certain attributes. We do have certain plans around it, not yet done, but we do have it in our roadmap, and we'll be working through some of these things. So we have a solid roadmap around things that we want to do the next level once this whole redesign and migration is complete, and some of these capabilities, designing your own layouts and defining what roles can see what attributes, some accessibility standards, and making all your different UIs like inbox and consoles coming together in a role-based way are some of the next things that we want to pick up. So that is definitely on the roadmap. Thanks, Naman.
Great. I think that's all the questions.
All right. I believe we have some time. If anybody has questions,
Great. So, Sushant, this is really good, and you, Karina, and the team have done an excellent job. And UI and stuff like that is always a bit difficult when you're used to working in a specific way. There's definitely some changes. So thanks for coming on and showing this to us, and really excited about what the future holds, not just for the UI, but also for Reltio. Thanks everybody for coming today. And yes, I will be sharing the recording with everyone. We'll probably be done by today. Great features, some needs getting used to, but yeah, some positive changes. So thanks, Sandro. But everyone, thanks for coming. Really appreciate you showing up again. We do have several other community shows coming out starting July 14th onward. I am looking at potentially rescheduling the one we had from last week for next week, the one on building your MDM practice from ground up. So we'll see. Hopefully everybody liked today's show. Sushant, nice job. Lots of questions as usual. Hopefully those help you as well. Help us to get our product better. And we want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of the product. So thanks everyone for coming. Sushant, thank you so much again. We'll
thanks
see
everyone. Great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, really great feedback.